Welcome to No Apologies on Beck, where we are unafraid to speak the truth. I am your host, Rick Becker, and our co-host, Lori Hintz.
Hi there.
We've got a good show for you tonight. We are going to be talking about a few things that Lori and I picked up individually and separately with the stories that are happening in the nation that kind of intrigued us.
We're going to be covering soup to nuts tonight.
Soup to nuts and back again.
And back again.
Right. Well, let's get right into it. So for one of the topics I wanted to cover, it has to do with COVID-19 breakthrough infections. And what that means are the cases in which someone had the vaccine, both doses, at least 2 weeks goes by after the second dose, and they get COVID. And I know that's the general reaction.
Like, what?
Because what the hell good is it if you're just going to get COVID? Now,
right.
But we have to be fair. That is the possibility with all vaccines. And there are breakthrough cases. And MIT Technology Review had a very good article. It says some vaccinated people are still getting COVID. Here's why you shouldn't worry. And they go on to say, give the numbers. And it is very, very...
In line with regular vaccines?
Yes.
Okay.
It appears to be possibly even less in many cases compared to, say, mumps or something like that.
But everybody is so much more aware of having had the vaccine and connecting the things.
Well, and there's so much pressure and propaganda about how, and so there are breakthrough infections, but they are within what we would expect. They indicate that there's a 0.008%. It's closer to 0.01%. When you look at the most recent numbers. But again, that doesn't mean there's a 0.01% of getting COVID after you've had the transmission. That's just what the incidence is. Meaning, if you think about it, not 100% of people who are vaccinated were exposed to COVID in a significant way. A very small percentage were. And of those people, there was a percentage that actually got COVID. And so then when you hold that to the entire group, you get a much smaller number. Nevertheless, it's within reason. Let's bring up the first graphic. The CDC is putting out, and this is what really brought me to bring this topic up.
Okay.
They say, as of May 1st of this year, CDC transitioned from monitoring all reported vaccine breakthrough cases to focus on identifying and investigating only hospitalized or fatal cases due to any cause. This shift will help maximize the quality of the data collected on cases of greatest clinical and public health importance.
Interesting.
Now, that piqued my interest. And the reason is we know that this hasn't been a purely medical or scientific or health-based endeavor. This has been a political endeavor. And from the time where we are getting the numbers of people dying with COVID, but they were presented as though it was from COVID, and it took a lot of effort, a lot of demanding to say, look, break out the numbers. We don't care if a person died in a car accident and they happen to have COVID. You're putting that number in. So everything is skewed to this political narrative to believe that, number one, COVID is horrible and freakishly scary. We must all duck and cover. And now they want to, because they're so much wanting to promote the vaccine, they want to minimize, and this is my opinion, they want to minimize the numbers that appear to be getting infected despite having the vaccine anyway.
It's so funny how you can inflate numbers if you need to, and you can deflate numbers if you need to. You can get the result, whatever you want, really, as long as you're just manipulating everything.
Yep. Now here's the problem with this, and again, if they were just honest about it, the numbers fall in line with other vaccines.
Right.
But they're trying to skew for the purpose of a political narrative. Now the problem is this: for political purposes, they're going to minimize the number of breakthrough infections, not just of reporting, but of tracking.
Oh, my
tracking,
goodness.
right? Now here, if we go back to MIT Technology Review, they say that tracking breakthrough infections could help them spot worrisome new variants and identify when vaccines are becoming less effective. This might help determine when booster shots are needed or point to more effective vaccine designs. Still, it's important to track breakthrough infections to look for unexpected changes. A rising number of infections in vaccinated people might mean waning immunity or the emergence of a new variant that can dodge the immune response.
And how would you discern which is
and
which?
if you're only going to take, we know that a very small percentage of people who get COVID are hospitalized or die. A very, very small percentage. Those are the only people they're going to track. So because of political expediency, they're putting us at risk, in my opinion. Bring up the next graphic, if you would. Now, again, this is from CDC. They show here there were 9,245 breakthrough infections up through April 26th. Now they stopped, so you're not going to see these numbers anymore.
Wow.
They're only going to show deaths and significant hospitalizations, which again skew the numbers significantly lower. All right, so now if we go to an article from The Street. So there were two parts I wanted to bring up, Lori.
Okay.
One was, it's politics at play, as usual, skewing numbers, throwing science out the window, driving a narrative to the detriment of the health of the American people,
Exactly.
which is what COVID has been all about. The other thing I wanted to bring up was, again, breakthrough, and that is that there are, because of these new vaccines, breakthroughs coming out because of what this new type of vaccine can do. But here's what I wanted to show you. When I was reading this Street article, it says mRNA was never approved as a vaccine until COVID-19, and it was given emergency approval from the FDA. Now that the vaccine has been administered to hundreds of thousands and millions of people, the FDA is getting comfortable with how it works, and it's de-risking the technology. So
it's de-risking
right.
the technology?
So,
really?
So within this article, there were two parts. One is what I was going for when I was looking at it, the breakthrough technologies we'll get to in a second. But when you read deeper into it, it's amazing how now that we're past it, they are acknowledging that they did not know the full risks.
And that has happened a lot with COVID. The
Yes.
last couple of weeks have been really eye-opening, the information that's just magically appearing.
Yep. One of the analysts says it usually takes 6 to 10 years to get a vaccine approved, but in this case, multiple COVID vaccines were approved in a year. That is astonishing. That's the quote. And it says also, although mRNA has not been used in any fully FDA-licensed preventative vaccine, the vaccines in use now have only been approved for emergency use. The FDA scientists have experience with this technology as it has been used to develop other preventative investigational vaccines. So, number one, we get to this idea that they admit and acknowledge this has been experimental. They didn't know the full risks. And again, nothing wrong with getting it, but also nothing wrong with saying, I'm going to hold off because I'm not 100% sure about this vaccine, because neither was the FDA.
Right.
So now the part that I actually dug this article up, this mRNA technology, if and when it is proven to be safe, has the opportunity to bring about potential significant cures. And this is why it made me step back as a physician, as someone who's been trained in medicine and science. This is a significant, because the technology's been around.
Right.
It's been around for years.
To be able
the
to
FDA just
apply
never
it,
approved it.
Right, and to be able to apply it to other cures is exciting.
It absolutely is. So if we go through just a few of those, there are many companies, and one of these aspects of this article is looking at what companies are potentially doing this for potential investments. They are looking at the possibility of treatment of HIV.
Wow.
I know, it's amazing. Pfizer is looking at using it to expand to other types of infectious diseases. Moderna is looking for, remember Zika virus?
Yes.
For treating Zika virus, preventing Zika virus and influenza, and CMV, cytomegalovirus. BioNTech is looking at just treating regular flu. Arcturus is looking at liver and respiratory diseases. CureVac is another company. They're looking at various infectious diseases. Translate Bio, here's something I find fascinating. They are looking for mRNA-type vaccines to prevent or treat cystic fibrosis.
Oh,
Horrible.
that would be amazing.
Horrible
Now, the only
disease.
thing I'm going to say about that is I hope that they take the time to
Well,
test.
they will.
You know what I'm saying?
But see, they don't need as much time because they now literally have
Tested.
2 million people in the United States that are test subjects. I mean, literally,
Experiments.
I'm not just throwing that out as
it's true.
it is an actual fact. They will be able to look and say, wow, holy, we did 10 years of research in 1 year because everyone got the vaccine. The last one I wanted to mention, Gristone Oncology. They are looking at cancer treatments, as well as they're also looking for HIV treatments.
Well, that is great news. That is actually great news.
It's great news if it's proven to be safe. So that's my segment for vaccine breakthroughs and vaccine breakthroughs.
And so much logic, and when we come back, my segment, not at all logical. You'll enjoy it in a moment.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Join us May 22nd as we take on the Northern Arizona Wranglers for Seniors Scholarship Night. Every student deserves an opportunity. Help us help our students. For more information, visit bismarckbucks.com/scholarship or call 701-595-0771.
Alrighty, we're back. It's No Apologies on Beck, and we are going to Lori. You said you have a segment which is not logical, or what did you say?
It is so not
Rational?
logical. No, it is so not logical. I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but within the last 4 or 5 days, there has been an uptick in a particular story, and it is everywhere, and there are multiple angles and multiple versions of it, but it's all on the subject of UFOs. Anybody else know? Have you noticed that?
And actually for a couple weeks now.
Has it been that long? Because I just noticed it the last few days because it really started spiking the amount of stories. So I decided I would start looking into the story and see what the purpose was and what the reasoning was. And the bottom line is, and I'll get to the bottom line in just a little bit with the graphics, but June 1st, just remember June 1st. So let's show our first graphic. This one is from an MSN story, and it says the Mutual UFO Network is moving its headquarters from its current location in Irvine, California, back to Cincinnati for a permanent home. Self-described as the world's oldest and largest civilian UFO investigation and research organization, MUFON has close to 600 investigators in all 50 states and in 46 countries around the world, Executive Director David McDonald said. He estimated MUFON receives between 8,000 to 10,000 sighting submissions every year, which can be made through the organization's website. In addition, MUFON publishes a journal, runs MUFON TV, and keeps a database of UFO sightings. Now, MUFON boasts one of the largest databases of UFO materials in the world, McDonald said, with the mission statement of the scientific investment of MUFON phenomenon for the benefit of humanity. All right, a government-sanctioned report. This is the big deal. A government-sanctioned report on unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP is what they say instead of UFOs, UAP, just remember that, is expected to be released soon. Luis Elizondo, former director of the Defense Department's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, told 60 Minutes, another big story. So you've got Cincinnati, you've got them moving with the UFOs. Now we've got 60 Minutes, who did a story earlier this month. This is when it probably started.
Sure.
That some reported sightings don't have explanations. And the bottom line is, the report from the Defense Department is expected to be released on June 1st. So that is the bottom line right there. They've got a report that's coming out, and now, why would they put the report out now, first of all? So I'm so skeptical of that. Why are there stories all of a sudden of sightings, and you're seeing military people showing up talking about sightings? I just thought it was really odd that all of these things were coming to a head all at the same time. So let's show another graphic here. This next one is from Fox News. So you've got MSN and Fox News biting on this same story here. What should Americans expect from the Pentagon's UFO report? Well, there really isn't anything in that story at all that explains what to expect, and then nobody knows what is in the report before it's out. So that was kind of a useless one. If you flip to the next one, this is a third story and from a different source. This is from the Daily Wire, and it says, you know, with the really cool picture. It's because that's the important part, is the graphic on that one. But leaked footage shows spherical UFO flying in California before disappearing into the sea. There is a video.
Into the sea?
Into the sea, and I watched it. There is a video. I saw it. I was looking at it on Twitter. And it's a video of what looks like what you see there, and it is hovering over the ocean. It was taken by some Navy guys, and they were watching this thing. They've got it in their sights, and they've got the camera on it, and it moves in an erratic manner, left and right, and they're trying to follow it with the camera. And then as you're watching it, and it's hovering there for what seems like an eternity, it just splashes down, and the people on the video say, oh, it splashed. They say it went into the water. So now everybody's like, this is weird, and trying to figure out what's going on. I think, personally, I know what the whole thing is about.
Okay, what is it about?
It's about the irrelevance and the frustration of his irrelevance for Barack Obama.
What?
Show the next graphic here. These are just a very small sampling. If you do a DuckDuckGo search, these are not Google searches. These are DuckDuckGo searches for some of the, just a small smattering of the huge amounts of stories where Obama and UFOs are in the stories, tells me that somebody's not getting enough attention. He's just not getting enough attention, and he needs everybody to know that he knows all about UFOs. So this is what it says. Obama on UFO videos. We don't know exactly what they are. Barack Obama confirms UFO sightings are real. We don't know what they are. Barack Obama just said something very interesting about UFOs. Obama reacts to UFO sightings, Navy videos. There's footage and records. And Barack Obama says UFO sightings are real as we can't explain them. So it's the same story being regurgitated by the press over and over and over again to get Barack Obama's name back in the press, so he is no longer irrelevant. Now, that CNN politics one there is my personal favorite. He just said something very interesting about UFOs. And this is what the beginning line of, show the next graphic, please. This is the next This is the very first line of the story from The Point. It says, Barack Obama, he's just like us.
Come on.
Right? CNN Politics.
Oh my God.
It says politics on the top there, but this is not politics, people. This is all a plan to make somebody irrelevant relevant. Well, in one way at least, he's just like us. The former president wants to know whether there really are other life forms out there.
Wow. What a fluff piece.
Exactly. And
he's
that's
just like us.
Well, and I was just trying to figure out why on earth is there such a push for the UFOs, and I just realized after I did a search that they're just trying to connect it all to Obama. It's so contrived and so transparent to me that it was unbelievable.
I was thinking maybe you were going to say that it's now that COVID appears to be waning, that they were serving the masses that are glued to their boob tubes. And
something
here,
that's
there's
going to be
something
of
else
interest?
just to keep you.
I don't know.
Your
I think
minds
that's
busy.
what the 60 Minutes story was all about. Was just to get that whipped up because they were knowing in advance that June 1st was when the actual report from the Defense Department was going to come out. I personally, I'm just going to say it. I don't believe in UFOs. I never have. I've never been one of those people who hopes there is some other life form. I just don't believe that there's. We don't have any, like I said in my ear earlier, we don't have any intelligent life here, let alone anywhere else, in my mind. Are you a believer in UFOs, or?
No. Well, you know what? When one comes to my house with a glass of whiskey, I will believe in them.
Yeah, we're more logical maybe than the regular.
I mean, there may very well. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. There may very well be multiple life forms and intelligent life forms, and whatever. I think most of this stuff is probably just wishful thinking. I don't know.
Well, when you see the videos of things like that, my immediate thought is, well, the Russians are probably ahead on, the Israelis are probably ahead on all sorts of technology. Why are they not, just testing that in various places around the world? That's what I think it is. I suspect that it's probably some of our enemies who are working on new technology.
When we hear about videos and it was like back and forth and then jumps into the ocean, I'm saying, okay, why would aliens do that? What's the purpose of wanting to eradicate? I mean, they're going to want to be efficient, and why? And why would you dive into the ocean for no reason after you've been hovering? It's like, did the aliens, or are they drunk? Right. That doesn't make sense.
I know. I agree with you. I'm not a big believer
hearing,
in UFOs
like the aliens would take you up and then prod either your belly button or your rectum. Like, for what purpose?
Why would they do that?
It doesn't make sense.
It's all made up. Anyway, well, I think we have debunked the UFO myth. I just personally think that this is an attention grab, and it's an opportunity for Obama to get some press for something that is so out there that people are going to click on it and they're going to look at it, and he's going to get his name on the news again.
You could be right. All right. So my next segment is going to back to reality. Back to reality. Stick with us, folks.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Prairie Patriot Firearms and Training is the region's most complete gun and training center. 5-lane indoor range, a gun shop, and a certified training facility. Firearms training courses are offered daily for new, intermediate, and advanced shooters. If you're not comfortable in a classroom setting, Prairie Patriot offers one-on-one private lessons, from basic self-defense training to concealed weapons testing, along with a full line of guns, ammunition, holsters, and concealment clothing. Prairie Patriot, 3930 Memorial Highway, prairiepatriot.com.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature Heroes, with the region's only Hero meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
We are back, and that was fancy schmancy.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I like the new effects.
So it's
Well
no
done,
apologies, and it's still Beck. And I'm still Rick, you're still Lori.
Still.
So we're back at segment 3, and I'm going to cover a topical story. And this one is...
Is this more regional than...
Yes, this is Minneapolis.
Okay.
So this is the hometown of my lovely betrothed. And she, by the way, did set me straight on the mayor of Minneapolis. His name is Fry, not Frey. So you were correct.
Jacob Fry, thank you.
I just didn't, whatever. Whatevs, he's not my mayor, that's for sure. So here's the thing. Minneapolis is a crap show at the moment. And let's just pull up the first graphic here. This is an article from November, I believe. Yeah, November 13th. And the headline, as you can see, says Minneapolis violence surges as police officers leave the department in droves.
And why wouldn't they?
Well, absolutely. Oh my
Seriously.
gosh.
Well, that's like, you want the worst job in the world? Portland police officer, Minneapolis police officer.
Right. It's one thing to have people treating you like crap,
right.
but those that are city officials to not only not have your back, but to be jumping in to just bash, of course they're leaving. But someone in the article says, and he's talking to the elected city officials, says, you guys have had years to address any culture problems within the Minneapolis Police Department. You have failed to do so. Instead, you embark on a campaign against your own police department, fighting and demonizing an entire internal city organization instead of making it
Ooh, that was
better.
Well put. That was very
yes.
well. Called them out.
The police department is budgeted for 888 officers. They lost a third of their force.
Wow.
They typically have an attrition rate of about 40 or 50 officers per year, and they have, the academy brings in a new crew each. Sure. But they're down a couple hundred. A couple of hundred.
Wow.
4 times the amount that they normally have. And so they don't have, and the city council, if you recall, did vote to effectively defund the police. And they want to rely on neighbors and social workers to stop violence, not the police. They targeted police as being the perpetrators of violence rather than the criminals. And
tell me if I'm wrong, but isn't there just such a small percentage of actual...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a very tiny percentage.
Now, here's
in
the thing. I
reality
am
of bad cops.
a huge advocate for holding law enforcement responsible when they are not within the confines of what they should be doing properly, because that is a huge bludgeon that they have with the law on their side. If they misuse it, that's horrible, and they need to be held accountable. Absolutely.
Like illegal search and seizure
any
type
of it.
things.
You bet.
Any of that type of
any
stuff.
Of
I
it.
know that
And some of the crap where they plant evidence, whatever.
Right.
If anything, they should be thrown in the slammer because law enforcement has a huge responsibility. But yes, the vast majority. And it's interesting, Lori, not only is it a tiny percentage of cops that are needing to be redressed, the mainstay of them, of course, are fantastic people that want to do good for their community. But bringing up numbers, it's also a tiny percentage of homicides on blacks that are perpetrated by police officers. Nearly all of them are perpetrated by other blacks, so it's in their own community where the problem lies. At any rate, what we have now is a mass attrition of the police department.
That is frightening for the people
of the making of the city commission, and you have to hold the people of Minneapolis responsible.
Yep.
You voted for these people.
Yep, you did.
You voted for these people who voted to defund the police, who now have made your lives more miserable. There aren't enough police to triage and go to do all of the things that normally they'd be able to do. They have to hold back and limit themselves to very, very, very serious things. And if you say, well, no, I'm not in favor of that, okay, why haven't you recalled these idiots on the city commission?
Fair.
We get the government we deserve based on who we vote for.
Yeah, that's true. I just feel sorry for the people in Minneapolis hearing and knowing and realizing, hey, wait a minute, a third of our police department is gone. I mean, as a citizen, I would be thinking, I'm leaving. I'm going somewhere where I know that I'm going to have safety for my children, safety for my family. I wouldn't stick around for that. I'm betting, like California people are leaving. I'm betting Minneapolis people are probably.
Oh, I think so.
They're probably moving.
The property values have to be plummeting.
Yep.
Pull up the next graphic. This is when I was on the Minneapolis crime website. They've got a nice dashboard. On the left, what you see, the circles, yellow circles, are calls that they get for shots fired.
Oh my.
And then the stars, unfortunately, some of them are blurred out because it's based chronologically. So you get yellow circles on top of the red or turquoise stars. The stars are actual shootings in which people are shot. Now, on the left, you see where it's there's fewer of them. That's how many have occurred in the last week.
Oh my goodness.
And if you look on the right, then that's what's occurred in the last 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah. So violent crime, according to, using their dashboard, crime has gone up, violent crime has gone up 26% for the last 12 months to date, versus the prior 12 months to date. I'm not going by a calendar, I'm going from May 20 to May 20.
May 20, yep.
And then the prior year, May 20 to May 20.
Oh, that is
26% increase. That's a huge spike in violent crime. And,
that map
good job.
on the right
Good job,
is
City Commission,
really
man.
awful.
Good job.
There's very few areas except for on the lake where there's not been some sort of crime. Right. That is like that.
So if you live in a little houseboat on the lake,
you're probably good.
You might be okay.
That is not good.
Yeah, that is something.
That's eye-opening.
And like the first article had indicated, you guys have had decades. You've had years to fix the alleged culture.
Right.
It's not like something just happened. And what's important, and you and I have said it before, Lori, these cities like Minneapolis, the Democrats and their progressive policies have been what is running the city for decades. And so now you say this city has horrible problems with systemic racism. This city has horrible problems with police abuse. You've been running it for decades. Maybe, since it hasn't been going so well, turn the reins over to someone who believes in law and order and the rights of individuals.
Because what you're doing is not working.
Let's go to the next graphic. So, Mayor Fry releases a 14-page public safety proposal report. He says because there have been more shootings in the past couple of weeks here, and this last weekend had a significant uptick in violence. And unfortunately, whenever a child is killed by stray gunfire, then it
gets people's attention.
It gets their attention. That's what happened this weekend. I believe also it happened again the previous weekend. But I've got his report. It's a 14-page report, and I just want to go through a couple of things with you. It's very interesting. The focus really is on the Minneapolis Police Department. In doing so, and I know someone very, very well who is in the Minneapolis
law enforcement community?
Yeah, located FBI.
Oh, wow.
And so I get some good information there. And really, the feeling is that Fry he's not in favor of defunding the police. The city commission went against his wishes. However, this 14-page thing is so focused on the Minneapolis Police Department that he's just catering to the demands of the progressives who are anti-police. But let me just hit a couple of things here quickly. Immediately what they want to do is, because they're short on police, they're going to bring in their counterpart to the North Dakota BCI, Bureau of Criminal Investigation. So they're going to bring in the statewide police to help try and cure what's going on in Minneapolis. They're going to be also bringing in federal agencies. Now, I think this is a bad precedent, but they're going to bring in federal marshals, FBI, ATF agents, and they're just going to be going with all of these guys to do what local police should be doing, but the city commission was too damn stupid to keep their police employed. And they're going to be bringing in cameras and setting up cameras all over the city so that they can monitor things more closely. Again, a little bit concerning. A lot of this is going to be paid for with the American Rescue Plan funding, the COVID money. That's where they're going to be getting it.
Well, that's going to go bye-bye at some point, though, too.
And they're going to be giving overtime to police. So it's the city, by their actions, are causing the city to, because yes, they may be using the rescue plan funding, but if they weren't using it for their stupidity, they could be using it for something good.
Exactly.
Fry's got all sorts of things in here, but focusing on police misconduct, which I think is misplaced.
That is wrong-headed.
They want to shift the culture in the city. They're looking at the human resource department. They're looking at involving
social worker type?
Yeah, social worker as collaborative groups. It's very, very interesting. They are looking at PTSD. Now, maybe this is a good thing for police officers, that it would be covered 100% by insurance in all cases. Another possible good thing is cash bail alternative. Depends on how it's used. But there is a system which it is a two-class system. If you have money, you can post bail and not be in jail. If you don't have money, you're stuck in jail until the hearing. That costs the taxpayers money, and it probably is unfair. It needs to be reworked. So there are a couple of good things in here. The problem is
14 pages worth?
Fry has the focus all on the police, and it's simply to placate the leftists in the city that believe that the police are the problem.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
We will see how that plays out. You know, they keep putting bandages on things and not solving the problem. The problem is with the culture, and that culture needs to change.
Get rid of your city commission, Minneapolis.
Yeah, right?
What are you thinking?
Vote them out. All right, when we come back, I've got another story. This time, it is kind of a follow-up to a story that we did some months ago. We'll be right back.
We're the ladies of Another View, bringing you a fresh view on local issues.
And different perspectives you won't get on the mainstream media. Watch us weekday afternoons at 4:30 Central Time on Beck News and at beck.news.
When you're buying windows, make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Hi, I'm Jesse with the Window Source. We only sell you the best windows and doors for the best price. Call the Window Source. Just because you pay less doesn't mean you get less.
If you don't know what's going on in education in this country, then you don't know what's going to happen in the future of this country. And it's important I'm Dr. Duke.
And I'm Katie.
Watch the Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 4 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature Heroes, with the region's only Hero meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
All right, we're back. It's No Apologies, your after-hours oasis of sanity. I'm your host, Rick Becker, co-host Lori Hens.
Hi there.
It's your turn,
Okay,
Lori,
my turn
your
again.
turn.
So this time we did this story. I think I pulled this up on an off-the-cuff where I just kind of put to you the possibility of states seceding.
Yes.
We talked about that. Well, it turns out that there is a group in Oregon who has decided that's it. We're moving forward with this. We are done. We are the rural area. We do not share anything at all with the Portland people, so we're just going to bail. So this is what has happened. Several counties in Oregon just 2 days ago on May 18th voted to consider joining the state of Idaho. And remember, we were talking about this before.
Yep.
Well, it's a part of a long shot movement to break away from the state that has long been dominated by politics, of course, from Portland. And we've mentioned Portland a couple of times tonight. Voters in Malheur and Sherman and Grant, Baker, and Lake counties just 2 days ago approved various measures that require county officials to take steps into looking into moving the Idaho border west to incorporate these counties. So support, I looked up the support for this in another article. And support for the measures ranged from 54% in Malheur County to 74% in Lake County.
Nice.
74% of people are like, Balin. Average turnout in the county elections, by the way, was 43%, well above the statewide average of 25%, which is what they normally get. So the ballot measures are part of a larger plan to pressure Oregon and Idaho legislators to negotiate some sort of an interstate compact to relocate their common border. And the goal is to bring 22 of Oregon's 36 counties into Idaho's more conservative-friendly environs, a border reimagining that would require approval from both state legislatures and Congress. So let's look at a graphic here. This is a news story that I found on it right off the bat, and it says the grassroots group Move Oregon's Border for a Greater Idaho is aiming to have the eastern counties, which are mostly rural, join Idaho because they believe they would be better off with Idaho's more conservative political leadership. Can't argue with that at all. Not at all. On the next slide that you see, you will see them say this election proves that rural Oregon wants out of Oregon, lead petitioner Mike McCarter said in a statement to local media outlets on May 18th. If Oregon really believes in liberal values such as self-determination, the legislature won't hold our counties captive against our will. If we're allowed to vote for which government officials we want, we should be allowed to vote for which government we want as well. All right, moving on. This next one shows you Greater Idaho.
Greater Idaho. That goes down into California.
And look at, well, they're talking about places in California which are also ready to secede as well. Now look at Oregon up there in the corner up there. I just think that is really interesting. So they would be massively huge in land mass. I don't know that they would have that many. Because they are mostly rural areas, I don't know that they would gain a great deal in terms of population, probably because the centers of the city are the blue places there too. So just leave this up for a second so that people can get a view of this too. Idaho Governor Brad Little is a Republican, and he told Fox News last year that some Oregonians are looking at Idaho fondly because of their regulatory atmosphere and their values. And the bid appears to be a pretty big long shot. It would require a bunch of things. First of all, a formal vote in the Democratic-controlled Oregon legislature. If that goes through, then Oregon and Idaho would have to come up with some sort of a deal, which would then have to be ratified by the U.S. Congress after that. So there's a whole long way to go on this one. Now, throughout the history of the United States, changing state lines has been a pretty rare occurrence. I looked it up a little bit. It all takes place before the 20th century. In 1792, Kentucky was created from Virginia's territory.
Yes.
Maine was created from Massachusetts in 1820. And West Virginia in 1863 was admitted to the United States when Union states and counties separated themselves from the Confederate ones during the Civil War. So those were the last ones. Voters in Oregon's Harney and Douglas counties will hold a vote on similar measures in upcoming elections, so they're yet to vote, a couple more of those. And McCarter, who is the spokesperson for that greater, told media outlets that Idaho State Representatives Barbara Earhart and Judy Boyle, both Republicans, are planning to introduce a bill about a possible relocation of the Idaho-Oregon border in January of 2022.
Nice, I like it. That is
so
fun.
They're pursuing it, and they're continuing it as a follow-up, and we'll keep you updated as we get more information as we go.
Well, you know what I like about it is when I look at your map and I see that they've gone over and taken part of the coastline. You see, because when the U.S. breaks up and we have the central states of America, North Dakota, South Dakota, and going southward to Texas, and then we're going to go over to the west, we're going to pick up Montana and Idaho. So if we pick up Idaho when they become Greater Idaho, then the central states of America will have access to the coastline.
To the coastline.
Which is very, very good, yeah.
That would be super helpful.
In addition to the Gulf Coast, we'll have the Pacific Coast.
That's a great point. I hadn't even thought of that. Well, there's a bigger picture on that one then.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent point.
Very much
All right. When we come back, we are going to take a look at something that blew up on social media, and we'll discuss that when we are back.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all. Spas, etc. Yeah, yeah.
You've come Come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you could pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Righty, we're back. It's No Apologies on Beck, and we are looking at a mailbag. Very specific, though, very specific, because we brought up in a mailbag a request regarding hitting Article 5 convention.
So we've hit Article 5 convention with a repeat on the show, and then we put a little question up on social media. Let's take a look at the question right now. And it was just simply talking about convention of states. And so all of these people weighed in one after another about
good idea or bad idea.
Good idea or bad idea. You can see it in the center there. And why. And the why part is what happened and really triggered a whole bunch of people. So let's read through some of these. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's what we have here. Many states legislatures are Republican, but our own little microcosm in this state has shown that does not make them conservative, liberty-centric constitutionalists. That's a direct reflection of too much apathy in the body politic. I like the idea from a political philosophy standpoint, just not as optimistic as others that the representation would have sufficient numbers with solid principles. Very, very well stated.
Wasn't that well stated?
Yes.
I know. Some of these are just fantastic, too. You can continue.
Do you know the North Dakota passed the COS, Convention of States, is what they mean, resolution in 2017 by an overwhelming majority, and we're one of 15 states. I do, in fact, know that because I was a yes vote on it. Another says, that's irrelevant to my concern. Who would we be sending? Are they truly representative of the values and principles we espouse? Simply having an R by their name is insufficient qualifier for something as serious as a convention of states. Now, I will give them very much credit because, for instance, I went, Jim Casper and Scott Lauser, we were the representatives on the trial run of a convention of states.
How many years ago? 4 years ago? 2016?
4 or 5.
5 years ago?
Yep. The thing is, if there was a real convention of states, who would get sent?
Right.
Now, I can guarantee you that the North Dakota State Legislature would not send me. 100%.
Really?
So the focus isn't going to be on who's most liberty-minded, who's most constitutional. It's, I don't know what it's going to be based on, but this person brings up a good point.
All right, let's show another one here. We've got a couple more on this one too. So this one says, it's a horrible idea with the extent of outright lies and media manipulation. People wearing masks and getting vaccinated is living proof they cannot make informed choices and vote intelligently and with confidence in a convention of states. Fair enough. No, the states can apply for a convention, but Congress gets to make the rules and set the agenda. We don't want this current bunch of clowns messing with our Constitution. I think Maybe, this next person says. One would need to be cautious and not assume that there would be enough support for the particular change you would be looking for if a convention were to be called. Look at what our founders went through to come to something of a consensus. Great idea, this person says. Mark Levin laid out the roadmap on this. I believe good, somebody says. Limiting the amount of time Congress can be in control is a good thing. Bad, says the next person, at least with current state affairs. Too many rhinos and Democrats ready to use it for bad. And another person says it's an excellent idea. It limits the power of the federal government. They have way too much power. So some very good points on both sides.
The idea with Mark, they said Mark Levin laid it out, and that's in a book he wrote. I forget however many years ago. I read it, I don't know, it had to be at least 5 or 6 years ago, called Liberty Amendments.
Yes.
But even in that book, Mark had, in it, besides, say, balanced budget or term limits, he had a group of, I think it must have been at least 7 amendments.
Great ideas for the
Great
country.
ideas.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of them I wouldn't go with, but mostly great ideas. Mark does a great job.
So do we have one more
Yes.
graphic here? And let's take a look at this one. Go ahead.
There are several inaccuracies in many of the comments on this thread. Anyone who is opposed to an Article 5 convention should read, Mark Levin's Liberty Amendments. There you go. And Tom Coburn smashing D.C. monopoly. Anyone who supports an Article 5 convention should do the same. Good idea. Something needs to be done. Federal government's out of control. Well, absolutely true. As if our own state is not out of control. But taking away power from the federal government is a good thing. Very true. Someone says, no, bad idea. Briefly, a con-con, now that's different than an Article 5 convention, but a con-con, what they mean by that is a constitutional convention where you go in and you're like rewriting the whole thing. But it would be a free-for-all. Someone says an Article 5 convention is not a so they respond, see, maybe I should read these, Lori, before
I know, right? Yeah. But this is so great. This is what is so great about it, because our viewers are so intelligent that they are able to correct inaccuracies, and that is what I love about our brilliant audience. So thank you, brilliant audience.
Yes, absolutely. Someone says, at the very end here as we finish up, they say, because there are more red states than blue. But we can go back to some of the other comments where red doesn't necessarily mean
red.
A whole lot.
It might mean purple sometimes.
Right, it doesn't mean they're necessarily constitutional. There are such good arguments on both sides of this. You and I have discussed before. I really like that our viewers are involved and they are informed. And of course, that's what we aim to do, is to help them become even more informed.
All right, join us tomorrow. We will have a reprise, so a special encore presentation for you tomorrow. And next week he's gone, and I'm going to be at the Bourbon Bureau sitting in the chair.
Adios, amigos.
We'll see you then.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.